pain is the price of becoming him. Let that hit you before you try to ignore it, before you try to soften it, before your brain tries to protect you from the truth. Because deep down, you already know the life you want doesn't come cheap. You want to be disciplined. You want to be powerful. You want to be respected. You want to be unrecognizable a year from now. Then listen carefully. You don't get to become him without dying as you. That's the law, the rule, the deal life forces you to sign. And every great man you admire, every monster forged by discipline, every person who clawed their way out of weakness, paid for it in pain. You think there's a way around it? You think you can become relentless while staying comfortable? You can't. You won't. You never will. This first minute is for the ones who lie to themselves. The ones who think growth is supposed to feel good. The ones who think becoming stronger means staying safe. The ones who still believe they can have both comfort and greatness. No, choose one. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. If it doesn't hurt, it doesn't change you. If it doesn't scar, it doesn't transform you. If it doesn't break something inside you, it will never build something better. You want to become him, but you still avoid discomfort. You want the identity, but not the sacrifice. Greatness is not earned in peace. It's earned in pain. Stop running from the very thing that will save you. If you keep avoiding pain, you will avoid your future. Now you're listening with a different mind. Now the truth can finally cut through. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Pain is the doorway. Pain is the entrance exam to the life you want. You don't pass it with talent. You don't pass it with motivation. You pass it with suffering, the kind you don't post online, the kind nobody claps for, the kind only you see, only you feel, only you survive. Everyone wants to become the strongest version of themselves, but almost no one is willing to go through the process. It destroys the weakest version of themselves, because that process is brutal. It tears you apart. It strips you of excuses. It exposes your lies. It crushes your illusions. It forces you to look at yourself without filters. And that's why most people quit. Not because they're incapable, but because they're unwilling to be honest in the moments that matter most. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you lived a week where you truly pushed your limits? Where you suffered on purpose? Where you made progress painful enough that your comfort complained? You haven't. And that's why you're still the same. People say, pain changes you. No, pain only changes you if you choose to let it forge you instead of letting it break you. Pain is the test. You are the answer. If you avoid pain, you avoid progress. If you avoid discomfort, you avoid evolution. If you avoid sacrifice, you avoid your destiny. Pain forces you to grow. Comfort forces you to rot. You choose which one leads you. And here's the part that should terrify you. If you are not intentionally choosing pain, life will choose pain for you. The pain of procrastination, the pain of regret, the pain of failure, the pain of becoming a man you don't recognize, the pain of looking back and realizing you stayed weak. Listen carefully. The pain you choose is temporary. The pain you avoid becomes permanent. So let today be the day you stop hiding from it. Let today be the day you let pain do its job. Let today be the day you stop fearing discomfort and start fearing what happens if you stay soft. Because becoming him, becoming the version of you that people respect, fear, admire, that version comes with a price tag, and the currency is pain. Pay it, or stay as you, but you cannot become him for free. Becoming the strongest version of yourself is not a transformation, it's a destruction. People imagine growth as some beautiful journey, sunlight, discipline, motivation, progress. But real growth, real evolution, real transformation, it starts with breaking, not physically, mentally, emotionally, ego-wise. You don't rise without first collapsing. You don't become unshakable without first being shaken violently. You don't become him without destroying everything that made you you. You want to evolve, but you don't want the shattering that comes before it. You want strength, but you're scared of the pain that gives birth to it. You want a new identity, but you refuse to bury the old one, and that's why you stay stuck. Every powerful person you've ever looked up to went through a period where they were broken, and you will too. You must. Here's what breaking looks like. Your confidence collapses. Your old habits choke you. Your excuses stop working. Your comfort becomes unbearable. Your mind rebels against discipline. Your emotions fight you. Your identity starts dissolving. You feel lost, exhausted, and alone. This is not failure. This is the breaking phase, the demolition of the old you, the weak you, the soft you, the inconsistent you, the one who avoids discomfort, the one who fears effort, the one who survives instead of conquering. That version of you can't enter your future. He must die. And the breaking phase is where that happens. But most people quit right there. Not because the breaking is too hard, but because they think it's wrong. They think it's a sign they're not built for greatness. They think pain means misalignment. They think struggle means they're failing. No, the pain is the price. The suffering is the initiation. The breakdown is the entrance exam. When you feel like everything is falling apart, that's not the end of your story. That's the beginning of your transformation. You do not get to skip the breaking. You do not get to become him while staying comfortable. You do not get to evolve without suffering. This is the part everyone avoids, and that's why everyone stays average. They want the rebirth without the death. They want the strength without the struggle. They want the identity without the sacrifice. But look at yourself. You're not weak. You're not incapable. You are just avoiding the one thing that could change your entire life. Being broken on purpose, being destroyed for a reason, being forged by discomfort. Because only the strongest men understand this. You must burn before you rise. You must fall before you climb. You must break before you build. And the breaking will hurt. It will confuse you. It will overwhelm you. It will make you question everything. It will test every belief you have about yourself. But that's exactly how it's supposed to feel. Breaking is not the end of you. Breaking is the end of the version of you. That was never enough. This is where the rebirth begins. This is where the transformation starts. This is where you stop being the boy who avoids pain and start becoming the man who uses it. Pain is the price of becoming him, and breaking is the doorway. People love the idea of changing their life, but almost nobody understands the violence it demands. Not violence toward the world, violence toward yourself, toward your habits, toward your weaknesses, toward the version of you that keeps dragging your future down. Because the truth is simple. You don't transform gently. You don't become disciplined peacefully. You don't evolve by staying comfortable. Real change is a war, a brutal one, a silent one. It's you versus the parts of you that refuse to grow, the parts that love comfort, the parts that beg for the easy path, the parts that whisper excuses every time life asks more from you. And here's the part most people will never accept. You cannot negotiate with those parts. You cannot talk them into changing. You cannot slowly convince them to disappear. You have to destroy them completely, ruthlessly, deliberately. Changing your life requires violence because your old identity will not step aside politely. It will fight back. It will resist every improvement. It will cling to your old habits as if its survival depends on it, because it does. Every time you try to grow, your old self pushes back. It makes you tired. It makes you distracted. It makes you procrastinate. It creates doubt. It tempts you with comfort. It tries to pull you right back into who you used to be. And that's when the violence is required. That's when you have to force yourself to do what your weakness refuses to do. Change requires violence against your comfort, because comfort never releases you gently. You have to tear yourself away from it, like ripping off something that's been stuck to your skin for years. Change requires violence against your excuses. Excuses don't just go away, you have to shut them down before they talk you out of your own future. Change requires violence against your impulses. You want to rest, you want to scroll, you want to escape, but you take control anyway. You override your feelings. You act even when your brain screams not to. That's violence, the good kind, the kind that creates a new identity. Because becoming him, the man you imagine, the man you admire, the man you're scared you'll never become, requires you to kill the version of you that has kept you weak. And that version of you will not die quietly. He will get loud. He will get emotional. He will try to negotiate. He will try to convince you to slow down, to be comfortable, to be reasonable. Ignore him. He's the anchor. He's the cage. He's the reason you are stuck right now. You don't need permission to evolve. You need force. You need aggression. You need the willingness to tear apart your own patterns, your own comfort, your own identity. This is why most people never change. They want transformation to feel safe. They want evolution without discomfort. They want growth without war. But growth is not gentle. Growth is not soft. Growth is not painless. Growth is violent. Growth is messy. Growth destroys everything inside you. That was never meant to survive your future. Pain is the price of becoming him, and violence is how you pay it. There's a day, a real, defining day that decides who you become. Not your birthday, not January 1st, not some magical morning where you wake up motivated. It's the day you finally choose pain over comfort. The day you stop lying to yourself. The day you get tired of being stuck. The day you look at your own behavior and feel disgust instead of denial. People think change happens gradually, slowly, naturally. It doesn't. It happens in one moment, the moment you say, I'm done being this version of myself. You've had chances. You've had time. You've had ideas, dreams, visions. But comfort kept stealing them from you, one easy decision at a time. Comfort convinces you you're safe. Comfort tells you you're fine. Comfort protects your weakness, but destroys your potential. Comfort is the quiet enemy that looks harmless until you realize it took years from you. Pain, on the other hand, is honest. Pain is direct. Pain doesn't pretend. Pain tells you exactly where you're weak. Pain shows you exactly what needs to change. Pain exposes the truth you've been trying to avoid. You don't fear pain. You fear facing who you really are when the comfort is gone, because pain strips everything away. Pain doesn't care about your excuses. Pain doesn't care about your plans. Pain doesn't care about your mood. Pain will show you exactly where your limits truly are. And that's why pain is priceless. It reveals you. It rebuilds you. It forces you to let go of the softness that held you back your entire life. When you choose pain, your world changes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop seeking shortcuts. You stop craving perfection. You stop being the person who always needs the right moment. Pain becomes the moment. Pain becomes the path. Pain becomes the reason. When you choose pain over comfort, progress becomes automatic. Discipline becomes natural. Growth becomes expected. Strength becomes your identity, because the man who chooses comfort stays stuck, stays average, stays forgotten. The man who chooses pain becomes someone new, someone sharp, someone focused, someone dangerous. You've lived most of your life avoiding pain, avoiding responsibility, avoiding the truth, and look where it got you. Stuck in cycles, repeating the same habits, promising yourself one day, waiting for a spark that never comes. Pain is the spark. Pain is the trigger. Pain is the start of everything you've ever wanted to become. There is a day that changes everything, and that day is the day you stop running from pain and start running into it. Pain is the price of becoming him, and the moment you choose it, your old life dies and your real life begins. There's a truth you felt your whole life. but never wanted to admit. The pain you avoid today becomes the regret you carry tomorrow. Every time you choose comfort, you're not just skipping a workout or delaying a task or taking a small break. You're building a future where you look back and hate yourself for wasting time. Regret is just pain that you refuse to face when it mattered. People don't regret what hurt them. They regret what they ran from. They regret who they could have been. They regret the strength they never built, the opportunities they didn't take, the life they were too soft to create. And you know exactly what kind of regret I'm talking about. That quiet voice at night that whispers you should have done more. That heavy feeling in your chest when you realize another day passed and nothing changed. That anger you feel when you see someone doing what you know you should have done. That's not sadness. That's not insecurity. That's regret, the slowest, sharpest pain a person can feel. Avoiding pain doesn't save you. It delays your suffering until it grows big enough to break you. Here's something most people never understand. Pain and regret both hurt, but one builds you. The other destroys you. Pain lasts minutes. Regret lasts years. Pain makes you tougher. Regret makes you hate yourself. Pain pushes you forward. Regret keeps you stuck in the past. Pain forces growth. Regret freezes growth. You think you're saving yourself by avoiding discomfort. You're not. You're trading short-term peace for long-term misery. And if you don't understand that now, your life will show you later. Look at the people who never tried. Look at the ones who quit early. Look at the ones who wasted years in comfort and excuses. Watch their faces. Listen to their stories. They all say the same thing. I wish I started sooner. I wish I didn't give up. I wish I stayed consistent. I wish I didn't waste my time. Nobody says, I wish I took more breaks. I wish I stayed comfortable. I wish I scrolled more. Regret is the bill you pay for every easy choice you make now. And that bill always comes due. You can suffer now in the pursuit of the man you want to be, or you can suffer later as the man you never became. That's the real choice. Not easy versus hard. Not comfort versus discomfort. Not pain versus peace. It's temporary pain versus permanent regret. You already know how regret feels. You've tasted it. You've carried it. You've lived with it. Don't let it become your identity. Don't let it own your future. Don't let it define your life. Pain is the price of becoming him. Regret is the price of avoiding it. Choose wisely. There are only two kinds of pain in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of staying the same. And the truth is, you've already experienced both. You just pretend you haven't. The pain of discipline is simple: waking up early, doing the work when you don't feel like it, training your mind when it wants to quit, showing up even when you're tired, choosing what's necessary over what's comfortable. It's sharp. It's uncomfortable. It demands energy, effort, consistency, but it's clean. It's purposeful. It's the kind of pain that builds you into someone stronger. Now look at the pain of staying the same. The guilt, the frustration, the anger at yourself, the feeling of falling behind, the jealousy when you see others improving, the fear that you might stay this way forever. That pain is heavier. That pain is endless. That pain follows you into every day, sits in your chest, haunts you at night. It doesn't push you, it suffocates you. It doesn't grow you, it destroys you. The pain of discipline lasts minutes. The pain of staying the same lasts years. The discipline pain makes you proud. The staying the same pain makes you ashamed. One makes you stronger. The other makes you hate yourself. And the worst part, you already know which one hurts more. You've lived with the pain of staying the same for months, maybe years. The guilt has been eating you alive, slowly, quietly, consistently. You know how heavy it feels to look at yourself and realize you aren't even close to who you were supposed to be by now. But here's the part you haven't realized yet. The moment you choose the pain of discipline, the other pain starts to disappear. When you choose discipline, you stop waking up disappointed. You stop doubting yourself. You stop feeling lost. Because discipline gives you direction. It gives you power. It gives you control. It gives you a reason to keep going, even on the days you feel broken. Discipline is the pain that tells you you're alive. The pain that says you're growing. The pain that proves you're trying. The pain that turns you into the person you always imagined yourself becoming. The pain of staying the same does the opposite. It kills you slowly. It steals your spark. It drains your confidence. It turns you into someone you don't even respect. If you're suffering anyway, and you are, then suffer for a reason. Suffer for your future. Suffer for your goals. Suffer for the person you're becoming, not for the person you refuse to leave behind. Because you can't escape pain, not in this life. But you can choose which pain will shape your story. Pain is the price of becoming him. But the pain of staying the same is the price of avoiding who you could be. Choose the pain that leads somewhere. Choose the pain that builds you. Choose the pain that frees you. Choose discipline before the other pain becomes permanent. Most people think the person they want to become is waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect motivation, the perfect burst of inspiration that finally flips their life around. That's the lie you've been telling yourself. The real version of you, the strongest, sharpest, most disciplined version, is not waiting for a perfect moment. He's waiting for you to stop running from the pain required to reach him, because he's not hiding in comfort. He's not hiding in excuses. He's not hiding in your dreams, your ideas, your one-day fantasies. He's hiding behind pain, the pain you keep avoiding, the pain you've been scared to face, the pain that forces you to grow in ways you never have before. Every time you choose comfort, you move further away from him. Every time you delay, you make that distance wider. Every time you lie to yourself, you bury him a little deeper. And that's why you feel lost. That's why you feel disconnected. That's why something inside you feels unfinished. It's because the version of you that you're meant to become is suffocating under the weight of your avoidance. Here's the truth you never face. You already know the life you want. You already know the standards you should live by. You already know the habits you need. You already know the discipline required. But knowledge isn't the problem. Pain is. You don't want the pain that comes with that lifestyle. The pain of showing up. The pain of consistency. The pain of responsibility. The pain of staying focused when your emotions want to run. You're not lost. You're avoiding the path because the path is painful. But that path is also the only one that leads to the person you actually want to be. Think about it. Every version of you that you admire, the disciplined you, the confident you, the unstoppable you, was created in moments where you pushed past what you felt and did what was required. You've tasted that version before. A few days of discipline, a strong week, a powerful streak, moments where you felt in control, focused, alive. Those moments weren't born from comfort. They were born from pain, from resisting impulses, from ignoring excuses, from showing up despite everything. You want that feeling back? You want that identity full time? You want to become the person you know you're capable of becoming? Then you need to step into the pain. You keep dodging. There is no shortcut around it. There is no trick. There is no hack. The person you want to be is hiding behind the work you don't want to do, behind the early mornings, behind the difficult days, behind the lonely nights, behind the discomfort you hate, behind the effort you resist. Pain is not blocking your path. Pain is the path. Every time you choose to face it, you take one step closer. Every time you pick comfort instead, you take 10 steps back. The painful truth is simple. You could have been further. You could have been better. You could have been stronger. But you keep walking away from the one thing that would change everything. Pain is the price of becoming him. And until you pay it, you'll always feel like a stranger in your own life. People spend their whole lives searching for shortcuts. They look for hacks, routines, secrets, tricks, anything to avoid the truth that's been in front of them since day one. Suffering is the shortcut. The fastest path to becoming stronger is walking straight into the things you've been avoiding. The fastest way to build discipline is doing the work you don't want to do. The fastest route to confidence is surviving the tasks your weakness tried to run from. Everything you want, everything you dream about, everything you imagine yourself becoming is on the other side of the suffering you keep dodging. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the things you fear, the things that make you uncomfortable, the things you've convinced yourself you're not ready for. You've wasted too much time trying to make growth feel good, trying to make progress painless, trying to build a future without going through the fire. But growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure. It comes from strain. It comes from moments where your mind screams stop, but you keep going anyway. Look back at your life. Your strongest moments were born from struggle, from heartbreak, from failure, from frustration, from pressure. Pain shaped you more than peace ever did. Suffering built you faster than motivation ever will. The problem is simple. You learned how to avoid pain, not how to use it. You learned coping, not conquering. You learned comfort, not resilience. You learned escape, not endurance. And that's why you haven't changed. Not because you're incapable, but because you keep turning away from the one thing that would transform you. You think you're being smart by avoiding suffering. You think you're saving energy, avoiding burnout, protecting your mental health. But all you're doing is stretching your suffering over a longer period. Soft suffering every day instead of sharp suffering for growth. Small pain forever instead of meaningful pain for a future. You're hurting anyway, you're just not improving from it. You don't escape suffering by avoiding it. You escape suffering by choosing the right kind of suffering. The suffering that shapes you. The suffering that teaches you discipline. The suffering that forces evolution. The suffering that makes you someone you can finally respect. And here's the truth that will either wake you up or break you completely. Your life will only change in direct proportion to the suffering you're willing to endure. If you're willing to suffer a little, you'll grow a little. If you're willing to suffer a lot, you'll grow a lot. If you're unwilling to suffer at all, you'll stay the same forever. Stop running from the storms. Run into them. That's where you're forged. That's where your identity changes. That's where the weak version of you dies and the real you begins. Pain is the price of becoming him. Suffering is the shortcut. And the longer you avoid it, the longer you avoid your future. Pain never arrives quietly. It doesn't knock. It doesn't wait. It crashes into your life and demands something from you. And what you do in that moment decides everything. Pain doesn't shape you by itself. It shapes you through your response. Two people feel the same pain. One becomes stronger, one becomes weaker. The difference isn't the pain. It's who they decide to be while they're hurting. Pain is not the villain. Pain is the test. Pain asks one question: what are you going to do about it? And most people fail because they do nothing. They run, they freeze, they complain, they surrender, they shut down and wait to feel better. But here's the truth. If you wait to feel better before you act, you'll never act at all. You grow in pain, not after it. You evolve through discomfort, not around it. You become him because you kept moving when everything inside you told you to stop. Pain doesn't care about your comfort. Pain doesn't care about your mood. Pain doesn't care about your excuses. Pain gives you two options: become something new or stay exactly the same. And that's where most people fail. Not in the effort, but in the response. They read pain as a sign to quit, instead of a sign to rise. They treat discomfort as danger instead of direction. They treat struggle as punishment instead of proof. Pain is proof. Proof that you're in motion. Proof that you're confronting your limits. Proof that you're not hiding anymore. Proof that you're waking up from the life you settled for. Your future self will not ask how comfortable you were. He will ask how you responded when things got hard. The life you want is built in the moments where you refuse to fold, where you choose discipline over doubt, where you act even when you're exhausted, where you stop negotiating with your weakness. Pain demands a response, not thoughts, not feelings, not intentions, a response. Every time you choose action in pain, you build identity, you build resilience, you build self-respect. You build the version of you that your future requires. Every time you choose avoidance and pain, you build regret. You build insecurity, you build softness. You build the version of you that you'll eventually grow to hate. When pain shows up in it, will you have one decision to make? Fold and stay the same, or fight and become him? Pain is not the end of your story. Pain is the crossroad where your story finally begins or permanently dies. Pain is the price of becoming him. But how you respond to it decides whether you actually rise or stay trapped in who you've always been. Every great life you've ever imagined, every version of you that feels powerful, disciplined, focused, dangerous, unshakable is on the other side of a door. But that door isn't made of wood or metal. It's made of pain. And most people never reach their potential because they spend their whole life standing in front of that door, but never stepping through it. They touch it, they think about it, they admire it, they plan for it, but they never walk through because the cost terrifies them, the discomfort scares them, the work overwhelms them, the sacrifice feels too heavy, and so they settle. They settle for a life that feels almost right, almost fulfilling, almost meaningful, and almost becomes their prison. But here's the truth you need to hear before this ends. Everything you want, everything you are meant to become, exists on the other side of consistent chosen pain. The pain of showing up, the pain of discipline, the pain of failure, the pain of effort, the pain of responsibility, the pain of facing yourself without lies or excuses. You keep trying to skip this part. You keep hoping you can grow without the breaking, without the pressure, without the struggle. But you can't. No one can. The strongest people you know aren't special. They're not superhuman. They didn't have better luck, or better timing, or better opportunities. They just walk through the door you keep avoiding. They let pain shape them. They let pain strip away their weakness. They let pain force them to evolve. They let pain kill the parts of themselves that were never meant to survive the life they wanted. And now you stand here in the same place with the same choice. Stay outside the door and keep dreaming of who you could be, or step through it and become someone you no longer recognize in the best possible way. That version of you, the one with discipline, with clarity, with momentum, with respect for himself, with power in his voice, with fire in his chest, he's waiting for you. But he cannot meet you halfway. He won't come to you. He won't appear magically. He won't be born from comfort. You must walk into the pain. You must let it change you. You must earn him, because becoming him is not something you talk about. It's something you bleed for. You know exactly what you need to do next. You know exactly where you've been weak. You know exactly what habits must die. You know exactly what standards you've ignored. You know exactly what version of you needs to be buried today. You don't need more motivation. You need a decision, a real one. This is the last line of the hour, so hear it clearly. Pain is the price of becoming him. And if you refuse to pay that price, you'll never meet the man you were born to become. Your move now